In the midst of an incredibly contentious presidential election and an overall disastrous 2020, I think we can all finally agree on one thing, and that's that we don't agree on anything. It's because the pandemic and the recession have disproportionately affected everybody. Typically, when we have a recession, it's broadly correlated. Everybody contracts together and then everybody recovers together. It's what led economists this spring to excitedly questioning, will we have a U-shaped recovery, a V-shaped recovery? Joke's on us, we had to come up with an entirely new letter to define this recovery, the K-shape. The K-shape is meant to reflect those who are winners and those who are losers. What side of the K you fall on can be industry specific. Supermarkets, online retail, technology, all of those are having a good 2020. Meanwhile, entertainment, travel, leisure, those continue to decline. We're seeing disproportionate recoveries based on race and gender, with minority women being the most affected in the job loss space. There's reports that billionaires created $430 billion worth of wealth during the pandemic, while at the same time, it's estimated 40 million Americans could be evicted from their homes without government intervention. The disparity in the recovery can't just be blamed on capitalism or the pandemic, but even government stimulus packages have contributed to the inequality. The original government stimulus package gave $600 of extended enhanced unemployment benefits to everybody who was unemployed, regardless of prior income or cost of living. And this continues to be one of the primary sticking points as our congressional leaders look to roll out a second stimulus package prior to election. Democrats want the $600 to stay as is and continue, but Republicans are actually looking to slash that to something more like $300. And when you break it down, their opinions typically lean based on where they come from. I ran the numbers for you, and here's what I mean by this. In Kentucky, the unemployment benefits are so generous for our cost of living that we cannot get people back to work. Don't believe me? This is what I found in a 30-minute drive around Bowling Green, Kentucky. Those earning minimum wage here in Kentucky prior to the pandemic, if they were laid off and they received the additional $600 per week in benefits, they were making 160% of their prior income. Even those earning our median wage of $50,000 a year received a 15% raise for being unemployed. The benefits are far too generous for our neck of the woods. And you can't blame our elected representatives like Mitch McConnell for representing the local small businesses when it comes to what these unemployment benefits should look like and if they are encouraging people to not work. On the other side of the country is California. The median wage in California is $71,000 per year. And based on their state's unemployment benefits, even with the additional $600 per week, someone earning the median wage in California is only making 75% of their income prior to the pandemic. Again, it's no wonder that their elected officials like Nancy Pelosi are advocating for every additional dollar of benefit that they can receive. That's what our elected officials are there to do. And it's nearly impossible for us to look to the federal government to come up with one bill and one solution that will add a benefit to everybody without creating unintentional economic consequences. But instead of talking about flat dollars, why don't we look at this a little bit differently? What if we designed a stimulus package that was based on the median income of each state? That may be a better reflection of the cost of living, and it may help maintain the buying power of those in higher cost of living states while preventing this incentive to not work in other states. The Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell addressed the nation today, and he pushed for another stimulus package from the federal government. And he even used the words that they could not overdo it. I beg to differ a little bit. I think the now hiring signs that are flooding certain areas of our country are a sign that the government can overdo it. But that's not to say that there aren't other areas still struggling. Our nation is currently sitting on about an 8% unemployment rate, about twice what we typically see. But I'm not entirely convinced that that unemployment rate is because the jobs aren't available. That's it for this week. This is Jeannie Fisher, the 401k Lady.